Salutations, everybody, and Happy New Year! Welcome to the first day of 2023, and welcome to Learning the Ropes. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by my brother from another mother, my partner in crime, Mr. B. Rope.
How we doing out there, world?
Doing pretty awesome, and we got an awesome show lined up for you folks tonight, as it is the Golden Headlock Awards show. That is right. I know we didn't have our tuxes pressed in time, so we're keeping it casual tonight, folks. But that's okay because it's going to be a fun night. We're going to give out some awesome awards, talk about the year that was professional wrestling. And hi, D, how are you?
Happy New Year, D.
Happy New Year! And we've got some guests coming on here too. But as always, when we start our show, what we like to kick it off with, Mr. B-Roll.
A little bit of plug-a-palooza. That is right. That is right, indeedio. And what is up, Bree? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
And
Happy
Dad
New Year.
Hat. Oh man, they're flying out the woodwork here. But a little
red
bit of
carpet.
Yep, the red carpet affair. I mean, we got the snazzy background. We had the snazzy intro. I mean, it is what it is. But
Golden Headlocks.
Yeah, I mean, we have a jam-packed show, so I need to stop rambling and we need to get into this. But we got to start with Plug-a-Palooza. So if you have found us here, you are joining us here on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel. We go ahead and invite you to go ahead and I don't know if you can but you can definitely follow. You can definitely subscribe if you would like to. I will let you on a little secret too, kiddos. You can subscribe for free using your Amazon Prime membership. All you have to do is you can literally you can Google it, or you can just use that link that I just put in the comments there to be able to subscribe for free. Yes, I said FREE, free.
Wow. That is spectacular.
That is true.
And you know what? My friend, you look a little thirsty.
I am a little thirsty.
A little tired from today.
You know what? I was up late. Last night, bringing in the new year, What's up, Jaxpo? How you doing?
So you look like you could use some rootless coffee.
That is right. Use code Panda Coffee to save 15% off all non-collabs. We know Christmas is over, but hey, people still need gifts.
That's right. And that makes pretty what is it?
It's a
damn
fine cup of coffee.
Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year, Ron.
Ron is the man. He's he really is the glue to this whole show. He really is. I hope Ron's not ticked off that. I don't think he's a nominee for any of the Golden Headlocks.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's fine.
He's fine. He's good.
And let's talk about what we got coming up on Cole TV this week. That's right. So it's a new year, new beginnings. So on this Tuesday, you're going to want to tune in because it is our Wrestle Kingdom prediction show. That's right. Wrestle Kingdom 17 is upon us this January the 4th. It's right around the corner, folks, and you can hop on in. And we got a very special guest joining us for our prediction show. The one and only CDC is joining us, and we will be talking about Wrestle Kingdom. There he is, the man himself. What's up, CDC? So that will be on Tuesday, and Thursday you can catch a replay of this show. And that's what we got cooking on Cole TV.
There we go. All right, so we have Rootless Coffee, we have the Twitch channel cover, we have the Cole TV cover, but what else?
Where did you get that
could
shirt?
we be getting?
It's so
kind of looks like you. That kind of looks like you.
I think that is me.
Yes, we do have some merch, believe it or not. Yes, these two knuckleheads do have some merch. We have some Cole TV merch, and we have some Learning the Ropes merch as well. Head on over to Sweet Doll Face Creations where you can find our merch as well as many other content creators such as Dad Hat, who's in the chat right now. Wrestle Talk Wolfpack has merch over there. Selfbet has merch over there, and much, 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 much more. Our Wrestle Talk shirts are over there. And if I could just take a minute to briefly Let's talk about that. So as we're kind of rounding out the new year, the thing was we were going to kind of take a focus off of that for just a little bit. So we're going to get ready to make our donation here in the coming weeks. So we will, or this week, we'll make the donation this week, but I believe I'll have to double check. I know we have sold at least 12 shirts, and we did have another donation as well. So we raised $170 is what we raised.
There you go. That's awesome, man.
So yeah, it's definitely awesome. Welcome in, Coop. We're both trying to hit it at the same time. That's okay. But I think without further ado, I think we've got it all covered.
Yeah. Let's bring on our guest, our distinguished panel of judges. They're going to help us decide these awards tonight. Sure.
All right. So coming in first, we're going to have to bring her in. She is. I hope she announced this today. She said she was announcing
did.
that.
The newest member of the PWC is joining us live tonight, folks.
Hi. Hola, everyone. Buenas noches, y'all.
The newest member from the Phenomenal Four, Sienna, is joining us tonight. So, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited and very honored to be here, especially kicking off the new year, though. So I'm ready. Hey, D.
It's funny. We had Hambone on the week before he started his show, and then here we got like the same situation going on basically. So we must be like
we're developmental for the PWC. No.
Yeah, there you go. Learning the ropes. There you go. But that's not all. We have more guests coming on. Next guest that we're going to bring on is always in the chat for us, always making sure to ask tons of questions, full of information. We have to bring him on. Irish Red Blitz. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, fellas. Thank y'all for having me so much.
We are glad and excited to have you on here, especially for this award show.
Yes.
All right. And last but certainly not least, I cannot talk tonight. You're going to have to carry me through this, buddy. Last but certainly not least, you know him, you love him. One half of your TikTok tag team champions of the world. I'm a little MATT.
So this is what it's like inside of Panda Wrestling Company. Cool.
You are it, sir. How are you this evening?
I'm up late. You know what I mean? Like I'm the afternoon podcast. I don't do this late night stuff. But
well, hey,
we're
glad
have a little bit
to
of
have
fun.
you. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
I mean, get yourself a little bit of rootless coffee and fix that problem for yourself.
Don't forget that code.
That was just another cheap plug.
That's right. Well, hey, it's the Golden Headlocks for a reason, folks, and we have got a ton of awards to give out here tonight. And to kick us off, we're going to start off with... There you go. Rookie of the Year. So, for Rookie of the Year, we're just going to go around and each kind of give our thoughts on who our folks are here, and go from there. So, I guess I can start. And for me, I have to go with the guy who literally has only had 3 matches. I got to go with it's Logan Paul for me. I mean, and I never thought I'd say that, but that guy in the 3 matches that he's had, it's like, holy crap. That guy has just blown my mind, like how well he is in the ring. Now, granted, he's had some great talent to work with, but still, he's been able to hold his own, and that's my vote for Rookie of the Year. What about you, Mr. B-Roll? Just want to kind of go around clockwise?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So my pick, actually for this, for Rookie of the Year, my pick was Roxanne Perez.
Ooh, very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been very impressed with everything that she's been able to accomplish so far. So that's my pick.
Yeah, and she's done it but already. The NXT Women's Champion here by the end of the year. So yeah, kudos to her. What about you, Sienna? Who is your Rookie of the Year?
Well, for the Rookie of the Year, we have very incredible talents throughout 2022. And I'm going to go with Roxanne Perez as well. I mean, she started off in the beginning of 2022 as the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. And then she got signed to NXT. She won this whole breakout tournament. And then she became the NXT Women's Tag Team Champion. And then from there on, winning the first ever Iron Survivors match in the women's division. And now ending the year as the NXT Women's Champion. So she has been on the roll ever since. And it's been like an incredible year. How it's been improving. And I'm really looking forward to what's in store for her this year. So Roxanne Perez is definitely my Rookie of the Year.
It's hard to argue against that. You listed a great list of accomplishments she's had all year. So, yeah, I'm almost kind of tempted to change my pick, but I'm not. But you're right. She had a hell of a year.
I mean, great minds think alike. So
there you go. All right, what about you, Irish? Who is your pick for Rookie of the Year?
So this Rookie of the Year had his first match December 8th of last year. So that to me is rookie. And I picked none other than Hook. Hook is just so over. You just cannot deny it. Everything he does is just crisp, clean. Yes, it's short matches, but I got to give it to Hook. It's been amazing watching him grow.
Yeah, and he's so over with the crowd, man.
Yeah.
So freaking over. That's a hell of a pick. Gosh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even consider him either, just because I'm mainly, I guess, maybe from the way he carries himself, even like. But yeah, I think he definitely fits the criteria of what a rookie would be. So
very nice. And Matt, how about you? Who is your pick? I think we see here in the comments.
I'm going Logan Paul.
Oh, you're going Logan? Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, Logan Paul. Like you said, 3 matches. All 3 of them were just a highlight reel. I mean, this guy, he is not your normal celebrity in pro wrestling, and I hated him when he first came in. Don't get me wrong, I thought he was absolute garbage, and I just feel like celebrities don't belong. Like I hated Bad Bunny. I hated any celebrity before those guys. Awful. Now, Logan Paul, on the other hand, he stepped in and he did the work. He sought out one of the greatest of all times in HBK to train him, to get him to where he is right now. And he did the work, and he had 3 banger matches. And to me, that's enough to solidify having the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even though they were high-profile matches, but still, like you say, man, regardless if he didn't do it in the traditional sense of, working the territories, brother, developmental, I mean, still, though, he put in the work in the ring and had some very impressive performances nonetheless. So
yeah,
all
and
right.
if I could drop a follow-up comment, would you say he's the greatest celebrity to join since David Arquette, in your opinion?
Oh, well, see, David Arquette is the greatest WCW champion of all time. So
I think you mean Jimmy King, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I'll go with Jimmy King.
Because Jimmy King is the best. He's the best wrestler, better than all. Anyway,
shout out to all Wrestling for Life on that one.
Yeah, I figured I'd throw you the alley-oop before you just went in and did it on your own anyway, because I knew it was coming at some point. So there we go. But honestly, all great picks for Rookie of the Year. In the comments, we saw some Roxanne Perez as well. But yeah, if you're watching,
I have a question for you. Next year for the 2023 awards, can we name this David Arquette Award or no?
David Arquette Award,
celebrity of wrestling.
I mean, it's cool.
I mean,
we'll have to take it up with the committee.
Yeah, we'll have to take it up with the committee. I mean, but hey, I mean, you have your own podcast, which I had the pleasure of being on just the other day. So maybe
thanks for showing up.
maybe you should have that award.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, and speaking of podcasts, what's our next award here, Mr. B-Roll? All right, so now we're going to move on to Wrestling Podcast of the Year. And Mr. B-Roll, this time around.
What? Sorry, I didn't catch you.
Let's start with you. Who's
We'll
your
start with me.
go around like we did?
Sorry, your mic's cutting out, buddy. This is live television, but
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. You want me to start? Is that what I'm getting?
That's what I said. I said, can you?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're live, pal.
Uh-huh.
That's what you get for ribbing me before the show. My wrestling podcast of the year. Gosh, I feel like this is such a cliche answer. You have to go with Busted Open, though.
It's a good one. I love it. Yeah. You got to love Dave LaGreca, Mark Henry, Bully Ray, and all the guys over there. Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, and if I could give one honorable mention, not that I want to try to steal anybody's, but he's not just a wrestling podcast, though. That's why I didn't pick this one. But Insights with Chris Van Vliet is amazing, and he does an amazing job of interviewing people. So
There you go. Sienna, what about you? What's your wrestling podcast of the year?
Well, the wrestling podcast of the year is something that I really enjoy listening to, especially getting to know each of the wrestler being interviewed. So for the wrestling podcast of the year, I'm going to have to go with The Session with Renee Paquette, especially the fact that Renee Paquette did debut on AEW this year. She actually did a podcast her experience signing with AEW, and she has her co-host Emilia Spark in it as well to give like the question. So I really enjoyed her podcast. She did interview a lot of stars, like from Marina Shafir to Stokely Hathaway to Saraya to even Jon Moxley on his third appearance, and plethora of other wrestlers and brought in. So I really enjoyed her podcast a lot. And for the honorable mention, I'm gonna have to say Wild On with Taylor Wilde. I really love her podcast, especially it was just like a less than an hour podcast, and she brought in like different wrestlers and also like other guests as well just to go in. And I really like her her 10 questionnaires towards the end as well. So that's my honorable mention for wrestling podcast of the year. And speaking of which, I wanted to give a shout out to Luna Havoc, which she was a guest on the Wild On podcast in 2022. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to her. And Irish, tell us, who is your wrestling podcast of the year?
I am going to walk out as a heel at the end of this night. So I enjoy a podcast that tells older stories. And so I have one that's kind of new to the scene. Click This with Kevin Nash. I just love hearing 2 hours of him ranting. And to start the first show about Scott Hall, I was glued. So that would be where I go to. If it's like the Norm podcast, I love Chris Van Zant, or that'd be my honorable mention, or like Renee. I mean, those are great, but Click This just really hit the spot this year for me.
That's a good one. That's an excellent choice. Matt, what about you? Who's your wrestling podcast of the year?
Well, there's only one option, and that's the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Never mind. No.
I was waiting to see if anybody was going to do a self plug.
No, there's a podcast that I've listened to for years, and it doesn't get old, but it's the guy who tells stories like Irish just said. I like to listen to old stories, and I like to hear tales from the road and the territories and what happened behind the scenes. So something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard is that's my go-to. So that's my podcast of the year.
All right, I can dig it. I like it. Everybody's
That's
all
good.
got. That's a good one, and everybody's all got different responses here too. And I have some honorable mentions as well. I'm going to go ahead and list Busted Open as an honorable mention. I almost went with them, and I was going to go with this one, but I love this podcast. But I mean, they do cover a lot more than wrestling. But I love Talk Is Jericho. I've always
Yes.
like Jericho has awesome interviews. But for me, I'm going to go with Road Stories with Briscoe and JBL. With Gerald Briscoe and JBL. That's my. You guys were talking about stories and stuff. I just love listening to those two guys. Like, they're like some old timers sitting on the porch, just talking old wrestling stories with guests and stuff. That for me, that was my most enjoyable wrestling podcast.
Gotta love it.
All great
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have a few more podcasts to listen to now. I don't know about,
Right?
you.
Yeah.
I mean, if
That's
somebody was
a
out there,
rabbit hole.
yeah, if somebody was
Cool.
out there watching right now that needs more podcasts to listen to, I mean, one, you got us here at the Painter Wrestling Company, but all these that we just mentioned as well. So the content is literally endless.
There
I
you
think
go.
Talk is Jericho is another one that I listen to a lot
Yeah.
when he actually puts it together, because it's kind of spotty depending on if he has time on the road while doing the show. But his isn't just wrestling; it's a lot of pop culture stuff too, and it's a really good listen.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. Like, yeah, Talk Is Jericho is awesome. One of my favorites. All
I
right,
actually
Miss.
got put over one time on Twitter because of that show. Because they were mentioning Road Stories with Shane Helms, and I put on Twitter about traveling with Raven and listening to, I think it was Bill Cosby comedy. But yeah, that was great.
That's freaking awesome. I would love that. I can only imagine being like a fly in the car for that. We got to get the Jello pudding. Anywho,
Yeah.
but we move on to what's our next subject, our next award, Mr. B-Roll. All right, wrestling vlog of the year. Let's start it off with Sienna. Who is your wrestling vlog of the year?
So I do watch a lot of like wrestling vlog, and I know this year has been a really interesting year, especially the fact that, well, I'm gonna say the wrestling vlog, Being the Elite. I really enjoy watching Being the Elite a lot, and I know that there was like a lot that been that Being the Elite be on hold for a long period of time because of what the whole like backstage scandal that happened after All Out. So regardless of that, like I really enjoy like the different skits from like different AEW star and all the behind the scenes from the Young Bucks, also with Brandon Cutler. So that's my wrestling vlog of the year is Being the Elite. Be the Elite.
Be
The Elite. I missed the theme song for their AEW, but
Yeah.
I'll get used to the Carry On with where somebody Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty, Irish. Let's hear your vote. Who is the wrestling vlog of the year? Who's your wrestling vlog of the year?
She nailed it. That would have been the one that I've picked for the past 5 years. If not for BTE, I don't think wrestling is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it. I was sad when it stopped being my every Monday, but yeah, BTE for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. And Matt, what have you got for us? What is your vlog of the year?
I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's BTE. It's actually that's the vlog that really got me into like expanding past WWE. Like it actually got me to venture out and watch New Japan and watch all that stuff that I was missing. And because I fell in love with the Young Bucks during their Bullet Club run. And, that was what got me into that. So, and until they're done with it, that will be the vlog of the year.
Yeah, all are valid points. And I honestly was torn on this one. I BTE is up there for me, but like I guess because last year when we did this on our podcast, I gave them Flog of the Year, and I kind of want to give it to him, but I'm going to pick somebody else because I really enjoy this person's content. I really enjoy this person in general because they are just you can tell they're a genuine and lively person. For me, Flog of the Year is Thunder Rosa's Flog. That's my Flog of the Year. I love me some Thunder Rosa, man. Like Taco Tuesdays, come on, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, who does not love tacos?
Oh yeah.
Seriously. Like seriously. And yeah, it's funny that you mentioned last year because I mean it's interesting that it comes full circle. Like last year, I was still helping you and I was making the graphics and everything, but I wasn't even a part of the show because I wasn't even a fan yet. I mean, or I wasn't that into it at least. But so for my pick, I did go with a vlog that I do enjoy quite a bit. Thought about picking Thunder Rosa, thought about picking Being the Elite, but I think I was going off the same lines you did. Like I didn't want to kind of pick something that had been picked. But I mean, we were the only two that really knew that. But I went with, just like Matt Ward, I went with Ethan Page's vlog. I love his vlog.
Vlog, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of inspiration from him over the years with our vlogs. As a matter of fact, we have our show called The Hunt on Cole TV where we go out and check out toy shops like he does. So, yeah. And we were talking about this the other day, like goals, bucket list item. Like if we could ever do a hunt with Ethan Page. We've already met him once, so.
He's a really nice guy.
He really is.
He's a super nice guy. We got him to do a plug for our channel. Awesome dude.
Yes. I met him a couple times when I was in Canada, half of 2017, because he used to run a independent wrestling company called Alpha One Wrestling in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Drop that knowledge.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Very cool guy.
Yeah, you can tell he's like a genuine, nice, just a good dude. He's a good dude. Now he's here with us in the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mr. B-roll. We're moving onward and upward. What's our next award?
We shall see.
Oh, Wrestling Announcer of the Year. Okay, let's start with you, Irish Red Blitz. Announcer of the Year.
So may I go with an announced team because just they do multiple variations and together I crack up every time. I wanted to go with the AEW announced team, whether it's Chris Jericho there, whether it's Taz, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone. Their banter has me hilariously laughing through a show I'm trying to seriously watch. So I got to give it to those guys. Like there's so many of them that are at the panel that you can't just pick one.
That's a good point. I do love like some Tony Schiavone. I love how like he just really doesn't give a fuck and just does whatever he wants. Just like, there comes MJF, you son of a bitch. Love Tony Schiavone. That's a great pick though. AEW, like they've got it like both on Dynamite and Rampage. Great team. All right, Matt, how about you? Who's your wrestling announcer or announcers of the year?
Well, I wrote down just one guy, but it's definitely Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. Those two together, there's no one, in my opinion, there's no one better. Pat makes he just made that SmackDown announce team that much better because you don't know what's going to come out of that guy's mouth. And he's just a pure entertainer, in my opinion. And another, I mean, he doesn't have a wrestling podcast, but Pat McAfee's show, if you ever listen to it, tremendous show. It's an afternoon podcast. But he's entertaining, and to me, that I loved. The King and Jim Ross back in the day, and Pat McAfee's no king, but he's building towards that if he is able to come back.
Yeah, I think just the chemistry between Cole and McAfee, it's like it's like in that classic formula, like you're saying with like a JR and Jim Ross, or like with the Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. I mean, they have that partnership that blends and works really well. So that's a great pick or picks. So for me, I just picked one. And I picked this guy because of a couple reasons. But number one, the guy does a tremendous job, like as a analyst, I think, in professional wrestling. He does a great job, like plugging the shit out of things on Dynamite and runs through them. And mainly, I got to give this man announcer of the year because, well, all year he somehow was able to keep a straight face while William Regal was flirting with him. I'm going with Excalibur as your announcer of the year.
Oh,
You delightful little crumpet, you!
yeah, that when it was announced that William Regal was leaving WWE or leaving for WWE, or leaving AEW, that was the one part I was the saddest about, that I wasn't going to hear that anymore.
As much as I love the stuff he did with the BCC, it's just like, oh man, come on! I just loved every week him just flirting with Excalibur. I don't know why, but it was amazing.
It really was. So for me, this may be a little bit of recency bias, but I feel like Michael Cole, especially after Vince was gone, it's been next level.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So it may be a little bit of recency bias, but yeah, I mean that was my pick. Wanted to pick McAfee as well, but he had to go do college football. So
yeah, but no, that's a great pick. All right, Sienna, who is your wrestling announcer of the year?
Well, I have to look through a bit, and so I'm gonna go with one person in mind. But before that, I'm gonna go with the honorable mention. I'm gonna give it to Chris Jericho because him on commentary was very entertaining, especially on AEW Rampage. I know AEW Rampage can be a hit or miss, but Chris Jericho is the one that actually made AEW Rampage fun when he does commentary. I like the fact that he kind of going to a feud with certain wrestler when he's on commentary, and his interaction with William Regal, it was super hilarity. But for the announcer of the year, I'm actually going to give it to Wade Barrett. I mean, the way that he delivered on commentary is very phenomenal, especially him working with Michael Cole ever since he's now on the SmackDown brand. It was nothing but pure entertainment, and I really enjoyed it much more. And especially as what you said, Mr. B-Roll, Michael Cole is coming out of his more shell since Vince McMahon left WWE. The way Michael Cole and Wade Barrett interacted, it's pure magic, though.
That's a good pick. Yeah, I do like me some Wade Barrett. I think he did a great job in NXT. I liked what he was doing in the NWA even before that.
Oh yeah.
But everything he's touched has turned to gold. So, and I wish they could just bring him back and he could work NXT too, because I don't know if I can do any more Booker T on commentary.
Same
I'm just
here.
saying. But that's neither here nor there. So. All right.
this is the best of the best, the creme de la creme. We're not talking about the worst here.
We're talking the best of the best. Yes, indeed. All right, Mr. B-Roll, what is our next award, please?
Oh, this should be a good one.
Oh, that's right. The holy bleep moment of the year. And let's start. Who is your holy
bitch? Don't censor yourself.
Well, I had two that popped up in my head right as I read through the categories. The first one is my honorable mention, and we won't get into the gory details of it, but it's the CM Punk media scrum. We've all talked about it ad nauseum. But I wanted to keep it in the world of wrestling. what happened at an event. So that was my honorable mention. My holy shit moment of the year happened at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar, tractor. That's all I have to really say.
Yeah.
When he damn near dumped Roman on his head with, like, come on.
Yeah. I can't even put it into words. Like when I remember just watching that, like, what the fuck? No, he's not gonna do it. It's like, what the? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the holy shit moment of the year for me.
That shit. I don't think that's hard to beat, my friend. That's a damn good one.
Yeah, and I'll give credit to somebody made a TikTok out there of when Roman was falling, and it was to the Mario like. I lost it.
That is pretty funny. Well, for me, yeah, but like definitely the media scrum. It to me, it's an honorable, well, maybe the dishonorable mention, but
Yeah.
it's something to talk about. But for me, it's almost something I really didn't think I'd see in my lifetime. I mean, to me, the holy shit moment of the year was Vince McMahon stepping down from the WWE. I did not see that coming. Yeah. I mean, that was just, I mean, when the story broke and stuff, and then, like, even when he showed up on SmackDown that night, you're just like, oh, great, here we go again. But, yeah, who would have thunk it that Vince McMahon would finally be stepping away from his baby, essentially. So, and honestly, I think we're all in agreement. It's a hell of a lot better product without him. But for me, the holy shit moment of the year is Vince McMahon stepping down.
And what is up, Will? But so my pick for this is definitely I have to be the one that was probably the most impactful on me. I'm going with Bray's return because I was sitting here doing the watch along on this very channel. I mean, as a new fan, this was like my Y2J. Like, this was my Y2J moment. It was undescribable, the build up to it, and then like it finally happened, and it finally was him, and just like the pop of the crowd, it was incredible.
Yeah. All right, Sienna, what about you? What is your holy shit moment of the year?
Okay, I'm going to start off with the honorable mention, and that has to be the MJF pipe bomb on AEW Dynamite after Double or Nothing. The way that he come out and went completely off on the mic and calling everybody and Tony Khan, you effing Mark. I was like, whoa. MJF is like big man right here, though, because we all heard about what's been going on with MJF lately, and that like he's threatening to leave AEW. Like the way that he cut a pipe bomb, it was like mind blowing. But I'm gonna go with the one that is like the holy shit moment, and this is gonna be like tying into one. Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, and then leading up to WrestleMania, Cody returning to WWE and facing Seth Rollins at Mania. That was the biggest holy shit moment because I'm a fan of Cody Rhodes. I followed his WWE career leading up to him leaving, and then the way he made his name to himself to Ring of Honor, to New Japan, him alongside with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega creating AEW, and then now that in the early 2022 left AEW, that was like really mind blowing. We don't know what's going on, and it was like so many like speculation going on until like leading up to Mania, where we heard his theme song. Boom, he made his return back to where he all started in WWE. That was like the biggest holy shit moment in my whole life period about Cody's career. So that's my nomination pick.
That's a hard one to beat.
Yeah, and really, it's like it's crazy to even think that it really was this year. Still, it seemed like Mania seemed so long ago. But I think one of the biggest things about that was, like you said, though, the fact that he came back as Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. That was the biggest thing that was like OMG.
Yeah,
Kidding me.
like they kept like the theme song Kingdom.
Yep.
His
The
looks,
whole presentation. Yep.
and this is right when Miss McMahon was still in charge of WWE. Keep that in mind. You know? It's like
Yeah.
this is like really mind-boggling to me.
The kid
Yeah.
was over. He was over.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was. All right. Irish Red Blitz. What do you got as your holy shit moment of the year?
So it looks like my camera's frozen. Can you all at least hear me?
We
Yeah.
can hear you, but yes, your beautiful mug is frozen.
Yes, I was trying to mess with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my holy shit moment of the year was definitely when it goes along. It's Cody Rhodes again, but it's when Cody unveiled his pec at Hell in a Cell. That was intense. So that's
Sick.
what I would give it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hell of a one too. Yeah, that was intense.
Next level. Sheesh.
For sure.
Yeah, those are all great holy shit moments of the year. All right, we got plenty more categories here. And also, by the way, stick around, everybody, because mid-show we may have a special musical performance. Because hey, it is an awards show, right? So, anywho, what do we got next, Mr. B-roll?
We're already on the next one.
I know it's flying by. It's time
That's
flies
right.
when you're having fun.
That is true.
All right, wrestling faction of the year. A lot of good factions out there.
Mhm.
Off here, I'm just gonna do this. Come on, it's the Bloodline. Is there any other faction more dominant this year than the Bloodline? I mean, Bloodline. That's my mic drop. It's the Bloodline. It's the faction of the year. What say you, Mr. B-roll?
Yeah, I mean it has to be the bloodline. And Matt, like I said on your show though, like I feel like Blackpool Combat Club was trending that way, but they did definitely fall off at the kind of the tail end of the year. And really, that's why I mean the bloodline just ran away with this one. Um, I would say Blackpool Combat Club was the next closest faction.
Yeah.
But they don't have a tribal chief, though. Just
True.
saying. All right. What about you, Sienna? What's your faction of the year?
Okay, it's obviously going to be the Bloodline, of course. Bloodline, they've been dominating throughout 2022. Like, no question about it. But for honorable mention, I'm going to say for two honorable mention, definitely Blackpool Combat Club. And the other one, Judgment Day.
Yeah.
It has been killing it on Monday Night Raw. Like, you have Edge forming a faction with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. And then, of course, this whole like crazy storyline going on where Finn Balor is taking over as a leader, all this craziness, and then Dom Mysterio joining. It's like, it's really insane to say at least too. So those are like my two honorable mentions. And of course, like my main one, We the One, Bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to go against the Bloodline.
Mhm.
All right, Irish, can you hear us? You still with us, buddy? On your mic, or okay? We'll go to Matt real quick here. Matt, tell us who is your faction of the year?
Well, we'll start with honorable mention, Blackpool Combat Club, right there, and one that was brought to my attention during our podcast. I have to go with the House of Black as an honorable mention. The more I look at them, the more I feel their presence was felt through the whole year. They might not have won any championships, but their presence was felt. I think they are a more intense version of the Judgment Day, in my opinion.
That's fair.
And I mean, That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Bloodline is the WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, they carried us through 2022. That storyline, well, shoot, for the last, 2 years, they've carried the WWE.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And them adding Solo and bringing him up to the main roster. And then, of course, my God, all this stuff with Sami Zayn has been.
Oh, they resurrected Sammy's career.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. And CDC made a comment there. If I was going for New Japan Faction of the Year, I'd definitely say United Empire.
Agree.
United Empire is pretty damn good. We got to give them a shout out. Gotta
Yeah.
love Will Ospreay. Oh man. All right, I think we got Irish is back with us. Can you hear us, buddy?
I can hear y'all. Still trying to get this camera going.
Okay. Well,
mine was the Bloodline as well.
Okay.
You just can't get better than that. I mean, just the storylines all year long have been fantastic, and we don't know where it's going next year. We might be saying the same thing next year if this keeps riding out.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it's and I've loved the stuff with Sammy, man, and where it's going, what we're going to potentially see. Like, is he going to break off of the Bloodline? What's going to happen there? Stuff with the Usos. It's chef's kiss. It's good stuff. Or, as the ex-boss used to say, good shit, pal. All right, Mr. B-Roll. What's our next award?
We shall see. Let's see what's coming down the pipe here. Oh, here we go.
Okay, this is a good one. Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. Start with you, Mr. B-Roll. Who is your pick for Inspirational Wrestler of the Year?
Okay, so this one was a little bit of a toughie. But as I was thinking back on it, and this happened, I think, more towards the beginning of the year, but I am going to say Thunder Rosa when she finally won the title off of Britt. Kind of like the culmination of her story. Always the underdog, and she finally won that title. So that was my pick. Not simply because of the booking after it, but the story leading up to her winning the title was very inspiring.
It's a great pick, man. How about you, Sienna? Who's your Inspirational Wrestler of the Year?
I would have to go with someone that really opened up about his struggle with mental health and especially how he overcome it, and also being the toughest wrestler ever. Like in AEW would have to be Malachi Black. Malachi Black as one of the Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. I mean, the way that he was very transparent about his struggle and the way that like he carried himself and explaining about the struggles and everything he's been going through. He's definitely my pick, especially like the fact that he did come back to AEW alongside with the rest of the members of the House of Black. It definitely showed that no matter what struggles you're going through, especially it's within the business, always just remember that everybody is here to support and all that.
That's a great pick. Yeah, and what a story like he had. It's great to see him back like in a wrestling ring too. All right, Matt, we'll come to you. Who is your Inspirational Wrestler of the Year?
Well, I was texting with Mr. B-Roll earlier today. I struggled with this one. I have two. My one that not a lot of people, well, you know him now because he is on AEW on a weekly basis, and that is Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
He's he's been on the Huge Pop Wrestling podcast twice. An amazing dude. He is all about the progression of the business and really he's just a guy who wants to help everybody. Like, he is probably the most humble and just outstanding dude that I've ever had a chance to talk to that's from the business. But my inside mainstream, like everyone talks about him, is Jon Moxley. Having to deal with his inner demons, he was dealing with his alcohol abuse and all that kind of stuff, and just to see him evolve from where he was to now is freaking awesome. Jon Moxley, my pick for inspiration of the year.
Great pick, man.
Yep.
So for me, I'm going to go kind of along the lines of what Sienna was saying, only mine's going to be a different guy. I'm going to go with, because I just love, like, when he came back and the promo he cut back on his first night, it was just like we weren't expecting it to be that style of a promo. And I feel like the storyline that they're presenting right now with him, it's a lot talking about, like, working against your inner personal demons. And I think it's great because, like, mental health is a huge issue right now. It has been for years, but right now, especially with all the way the world is going. But for me, I'm going with Bray Wyatt as your inspirational wrestler of the year.
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
And like I say, I love to see where that storyline's going with them, and how it's like, I feel like it's going to be like, the Uncle Howdy's and like all these other characters are like, it's him fighting his internal demons and stuff. It's a pretty interesting thing that Bray Wyatt's got going there. So for me, I go with Bray Wyatt's my pick. And then hopefully we'll be able to get Irish Red Blitz back in here, having some technical difficulties. You gotta love the internet, folks.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, hey, I was having some issues here, and you earlier. I mean, hey, we're live, pal. I mean, that's the way to sum it up. But we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
Up next, let's see what we have coming up next.
Okay, most improved wrestler of the year. Let's start with you, Sienna. Who is your most improved wrestler of the year?
That's a really good question, and I would have to think it through. Like, most improved wrestler based on mic work, based on how this particular wrestler actually elevated to where he is now in the main event picture, and he just had a match against MJF for the AEW World Title, and that is going to be Ricky Stark. His promo when he cut to MJF was one of the most outstanding promo from him ever, and it's like, it was so mind-blowing. And seeing where he's at now in AEW, and he's now currently in a feud with Chris Jericho leading up to the upcoming match on the first AEW Dynamite of 2023. It was a very, like, seeing him, how much he came a long way, like coming from NWA to where he's at in AEW and where he is now in, like, with the rest of the main stars. It's very amazing. So most improved wrestler has to go with Ricky Starks.
It's a damn good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
How about you, Matt? Who's your most improved?
Well, it's got to be Sami Zayn for a lot of reasons. He was lower mid card at best before he became part of the Bloodline, and then, but at the Bloodline helped him get back to relevancy. But I feel he's pushing the Bloodline to be even more entertaining. He's kind of carrying. He's not carrying the Bloodline. I don't want to say that by any means, but he makes it more entertaining. And he had, like I said, he was down in the lower mid card. Now he is on your TV screen every time WWE's on. He is there, and he has gotten himself back to being relevant. So I feel that Sami Zayn.
Man, you guys both got some great picks. All right, we got you back in with this Irish Red Blitz.
Yes, what did I miss?
You just only missed Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. Real quick, who is your Inspirational Wrestler of the Year?
Actually, it's Matt Cardona. just due to the fact that he's been able to do so much and be so over and just make a living out of wrestling with no big company. I think he's just on the right path, man. And that should inspire anybody in the wrestling business who is a wrestler out there. Just put yourself out there. I mean, that's what he did, and he's making a living doing it. So, Matt Corona for sure.
That's a good one. And now we're talking most improved wrestler of the year.
Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan for sure. Like, she just kind of, they put a rocket on her this year. So it was a pleasure to watch, and all of us hated her losing to Ronda. I mean, we could have
now
gone
the
without
queen
that.
has come back and took her throne.
Getting title reigns like her padre.
There you go.
So I have a theory on that.
Okay, what's that? Real quick.
One, they wanted to get the belt off Ronda, but was that title reign done so quickly to give her another number?
Probably.
She can either tie or break the record.
Probably.
Did they say 14? Did I catch that, or was I just
14 's
hearing
what they
things?
said.
Oh my god! I was hoping I just overheard something wrong. Ugh.
No, and she'll break the record, I'm sure, by the end of it. So, well, for me, I went with somebody who, they were a pretty talented athlete. They have been their whole career, but this year especially was really like their breakout year. Because now they are at the top of the food chain in her division. My most improved wrestler of the year is Jamie Hayter.
Oh, yeah.
Hayter's gonna hate. But yeah, I think Jamie Hayter, man, what a year. Who would have thunk she would have got the AEW Women's Champion here by the end of the year? But man, she is, and she's killing it right now. So that's my vote.
That is a good pick.
That's good.
I'm kind of like, how did I overlook that? But I'm gonna stick with my pick there. I will say my most improved wrestler of the year. Some of that I personally enjoy watching. That is Speedball Mike Bailey. You all saying who?
No, not at all, man. Speedball Mike Bailey's had a hell of a year.
Yep.
You can't forget about that match on Impact against Josh Alexander. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That was a match of the year candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an excellent choice, Mr. B-Roll.
Yeah, he had a really incredible year, not just with Tech Wrestling, but also like a couple of indie shows as well.
Yeah, that's the thing about him this year is he was just able to get like cleared to come into the United States, due to all the the issues. But like, so he wanted to like literally wrestle everywhere, and he pretty much did. So yeah, I mean he's one of a personal fave of mine, and yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what is our next category, Mr. B-Roll?
Let's see, coming down the line.
All right. A lot of good comebacks. Let's start with you, Matt. Who's your comeback wrestler of the year? I
mean, probably one of the biggest pops I've had this year. You did the huge pop of the year, moment of the year. Cody Rhodes returning at Mania. Cody Rhodes is my return of the year. Coming home to the WWE, and his impact was tremendous in my opinion. The trilogy he had with Seth Rollins. I mean, the Torn Pack. He is, that is my comeback, and he will probably be the comeback for 2023 when he returns, hopefully this week or next week on Raw. So yeah, my pick's Cody Rhodes.
That's an awesome pick, my friend. How about you, Irish Red Blitz? What you got as your comeback of the year?
So it's going to be a probably common one, but everybody was dragged down with the whole White Rabbit thing, and to just finally get Bray back in the ring, that to me was just. I mean, I know it hasn't played its full effect, but that tied me in for weeks and weeks and weeks of doing all kinds of crazy research. So I got to give it to Bray Wyatt.
Somebody say Bray.
Perfect timing, Nate.
There you
Perfect
go.
timing.
Well, I really feel like this one's kind of like a two-headed race, really. Like both of what you guys have said are great candidates, but for me, I got to go back to like you're saying, Matt. It's that pop when he came back. I got to go with Cody Rhodes, and the fact that we mentioned this earlier that he was presented as the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
That's my pick.
Yeah. Well, I'll just keep this gravy train a rolling. I'm going Cody Rhodes at Mania. What a pop, and it was just, yeah, it was awesome.
Sienna, who do you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna give two honorable mention. One of them, obviously, Bray Wyatt. His return to WWE was very phenomenal, especially like with the whole clues like the QR code and like the different like subliminal characters. It was a really fun way to expect, return of Bray Wyatt. And the second honorable mention is him making his debut. It was at AEW Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. Claudio Castagnoli, of course.
Yeah.
His AEW debut where he defeated Zack Sabre Jr. And from there on, he became, the two-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, being part of BCC. And also someone that went for Blackpool Combat Club, Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz during the second Blood and Guts match against Jericho Appreciation Society. So that's like my honorable mention. And so for the main comeback of the year, obviously have to be Cody Rhodes, hands down. Him returning to WWE was a very memorable comeback of the year. And as I stated before, during the holy shit moment of the year, that will top it everything off for that comeback.
I do like the new name.
I love it. I love the ginger. Yes.
Put that on a t-shirt.
There you go. You need to have a match against Speedball Mike Bailey. Just make sure you bring plenty of baby oil, my friend. Anyway, what do we got next up, Mr. B-Roll here for our next award?
Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one.
The tried and true, the theme song of the year. All right, let's start with. Okay, that's all right. Hopefully, we'll get Irish back in here with us. Here, I'll start first, I guess. And honestly, there's only one answer to this question. I mean, it's plain as day, folks. It's because I believe in Joe Hendry. It's Joe Hendry. Come on. Come on.
Joe Hendry.
Because I believe in Joe Hendry. I'm looking at you, B-Roll. You completely forgot about it, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's Joe Hendry.
Yeah. He's a friend of the PWC. Did you know that?
That's right. He's a friend of the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. Shout out to them. But come on. I believe in Joe Hendry. Yes, a twisted hot take banner. There you go. What about you, Mr. B-Roll? I feel like now me throwing this out there, this may change up some of your guys' thoughts here.
Yeah, I will stick with what I put down because, and Matt's already heard my answer for this, and it may surprise some of you, but I really enjoy Orange Cassidy's new theme.
Janie by Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, it's a good one. Makes me always think of Wet Hot American Summer, man. If you've never seen that movie,
great flick.
That's a good pick. What about you, Sienna? What's your wrestling theme?
Well, as someone who does a lot of music, ranking videos to Don't React challenges on TikTok, well, I'm gonna have to go with starting off with one honorable mention and then the theme song of the year. So for the honorable mention, it's obviously gonna have to be Chris Jericho's Judas, of course. Great way to sing along. It's a very catchy theme song. But for the theme song of the year, because it's very significant for the event that's been going on in WWE and this whole situation with AEW, it's gonna have to be Cody Rhodes' Kingdom, his theme song. Definitely the theme song of the year candidate. And fun fact, once he made his return to WWE, it hit #1 on iTunes. Downstat Kingdom, though.
Yeah, Downstat's an awesome band too.
Oh, for
Yeah.
real though. Yeah.
All right, we got to do it just once. Adrenaline in my
In my
soul.
soul,
Something,
something,
Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes. There you go.
You're welcome, Internet.
All right, Matt. Who's your wrestling theme of the year?
I have there's 3 of them that really pop for me, and we'll go with 2 honorable mentions. One I actually added, so B-roll hasn't seen actually this one yet. The Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle.
Oh, Broken Dream, yeah.
When he brought back Broken Dreams.
I honestly had tears of joy when listening to Broken Dream because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of his current theme song, Gallantry, the remix. Oh, I'm sorry, even though his NXT Gallantry version was better than the one it's current. Like, I'm sorry, not my thing. But him bringing Broken Dream for Clash of the Castle really made my heart happy. I did sing along with so loud that my sister told me to shut up.
I've been clamoring for that for the last 3 years. I've been wanting that, and they gave it to us one night only. I was over the moon happy. Number 2 is MJF's "I'm Better Than You." The one that has the lyrics inside of it is amazing. It's on YouTube. If you haven't heard that one, check it out.
Better than you.
Good.
And number 1 is Kingdom.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Cody Rhodes.
It slaps.
There's nothing, that's in my pumped up kind of. Yeah.
You've had a shit day at the office. You're going to the gym to pump some iron, do some leg press, brother. Yes. Adrenaline in my soul. Cereal in my bowl. Something, Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
All right. Welcome back in, Irish Red Blitz. What do you got for us? Who's your wrestling theme song of the year?
Ricky Starks. I love that theme song so much. It is just takes me back to like playing No Mercy or NWO Revenge, like just the classic theme. It just every time I hear it, I'm just compelled to just enjoy that moment.
It's a hell of a good one, man.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mr. B-Roll? This is a perfect segue as we're talking wrestling themes. This is an award show, by golly. And an award show would not be complete without a musical performance. And we got a very special guest that we've commissioned to come on here tonight.
That is true. And while you're getting that pulled up, I want to say a quick story. Can I have a quick story time about the Ricky Starks theme song while you're pulling that up? Okay, so when we were at the All Out Fan Fest, we actually got to meet Ricky Starks for free, actually. He was one of the free ones, believe it or not. And Aubrey Edwards was walking by. He was like, "Hey, Aubrey, what theme song is this?" And it was on something else. And the next thing you know, his theme song hit.
Yep.
And like he's standing like literally like I could touch him. Next thing you know, he hits the pose.
It was literally while we have
would have to be Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, of course, since Cody returned to WWE. He only had like a very incredible storyline feud with Seth Rollins. But my main feud of the year would have to be MJF versus CM Punk in the beginning of this year. My God, the way that they cut the promo and each of the storytelling leading up to the dog collar match at AEW Revolution, I was very blown away with this feud, and I was like highly invested. with it all together. So that's my feud of the year.
Yeah, and I think it definitely. I mean, it says a lot that feud was at the beginning of the year, and here we still are. We still talk about it and still talking about it with passion. So, what do you say, Matt?
Well, I have three. Well, two honorable mentions, and then the main one. Honorable mention number one: Brock Roman. The reason it didn't get further up on my list was because we've seen it too many times in the past. But it was good this year. Like, it was one of those things. Now, they were both kind of manipulating Paul Heyman at first, and then Paul Heyman finally chose the right person and went with Roman. And my number two is the Young Bucks versus and the Lucha Bros. The matches they had throughout the whole year, tremendous. And the last one, FTR, Briscoes. Their matches, chef's kiss. Their dog collar match, their best 2 out of 3 falls match. There's no, I just can't see a rivalry that's got more heated than those guys. It was 2 of the best tag teams in the world going at it. And we thought we were blessed to see them go at it, 3 times? And it was amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Excellent pick, my friend. All right, Irish Red Blitz, what you got for us, my friend?
So I also went with FTR and the Briscoes, just due to the fact that they don't have TV programming, they don't have all this going on, and they did 3 pay-per-views that are just buy rate with no TV show, and they tore down the house every time. I think that has potential to go for years. And I mean, like, to have nothing to... I mean, did you see the Briscoes on AEW to promote Ring of Honor? No. Nope. That's what baffled me. So to see them make what they made out of those 3 matches, I'm giving that the feud of the year.
Hell yeah. Well, great picks. So I definitely, it's funny because the ones they've said are the ones I'm thinking too, like the honorable mention to the Briscoes and the FTR. I almost went with Blackpool Combat Club against the Jericho Appreciation Society. Mainly, I was like, the biggest thing for me out of that whole feud, even though he's not a part of the BCC, but still the fact that Eddie Kingston tried to fucking set Chris Jericho on fire. I mean, I don't think it gets more heated, no pun intended, than that. But I'm with you, Sienna. I got to go back. I just love the promo and the build, and I know it was at the beginning of the year, but it's CM Punk and MJF. And it's just a shame because I honestly think that's probably what we were going to get to tie us up at the end of the year was Punk and MJF. But still, the first part of the story and their main story was amazing enough, and it got me to vote it as the feud of the year.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So I'll give one honorable mention. I would say I will actually go with Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez as an honorable mention.
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
That's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
And then, but yeah, I mean, my feud of the year, it has to be CM Punk versus MJF. The promos leading up to it, like the way it made you felt of, MJF being this kid that, and then, everything leading up to it. And then even Punk's promo, will you be my Valentine? And, he's holding up the dog collar chains. Like, I mean, it was just, and then even the match itself where Wardlow finally comes out and he like has the ring and he's just like, I can't find it. But then, after he sets it down, which that then led into Wardlow to MJF. So.
Yeah. All great picks. It was a great year for some feuds. All right, Mr. B-Roll, let's move this gravy train on. We're getting into the meats and potatoes of these awards. What we got next? Oh, that's right, folks. You all got right. Pay-per-view of the year. Not to be confused with premium live event. always going to be a pay-per-view, damn it. I'm still paying something to view it, whether it's a minimal price or not. It's always going to be a pay-per-view. Just saying. All right. Anywho, all right, our pay-per-view of the year. Let's start with you, Matt. Who do you got as your pay-per-view of the year?
Again, it's 1A and 1B, and they're tied in my opinion. It's Forbidden Door and SummerSlam. SummerSlam was, you guys saw the return of Bayley. You had, and her faction. You have, you have the Brock Lesnar spot with the tractor. You had Logan Paul putting on a show. From start to finish, there really wasn't a lull. That pay-per-view was one banger after another. But unfortunately, it wasn't Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door edged it out because it was everything that everyone wanted to see. It was, in my opinion, what a classic, amazing pay-per-view should be.
Yeah. Forbidden Door was an amazing night, and we were blessed enough to actually be there in person for that one, Mr. B-Roll and I, and holy shit, what a night that was. Excellent choice, my friend. All right, Irish Red Blitz, what you got for us? What's your pay-per-view of the year, my friend?
I'm going to give it to Survivor Series War Games just because of the delivery, and we got what they promised, and that was probably one of the better WWE pay-per-views, I guess, after McMahon was out the door. I mean, I want to go Forbidden Door. That was like my favorite to watch and see all this, but I just really loved the way that Survivor Series War Games was put together. Especially that main event, the storytelling in it. I mean, you were just captivated with each second. I loved it. And to see the main stars actually be in a War Games match was pretty awesome, too.
Yeah. Ooh, Art of War Games, too. That was pretty amazing. That's another one we were lucky enough to be in attendance for. For me, I could say we were really blessed to go to some awesome shows this year, Forbidden Door being one of them. It's definitely up there, but I'm going to give a slight edge to, I'm going with the granddaddy of them all. I got to go with WrestleMania 38 this year. I mean, just simply for the fact that it tied up everything, I think, that was still, like, you literally had pretty much Stone Cold Steve Austin return and pretty much potentially we think wrestle his last match, although if you read the dirt sheets, that may suggest otherwise. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it's his last match. You also got to see Triple H come into the ring and retire, an end of an era for him. And the last time you really get to see the on-air Vince McMahon character, that all being tied in with an incredible women's title match between Bianca and Becky, and of course the return of Cody Rhodes. And I'm going to count both nights too. I'm going to cheat. So for me, I'm going with WrestleMania. That's my pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, there you go. Really, the WrestleMania weekend was incredible. I mean, if you mentioned, like Matt's saying here, Supercard of Honor was that same weekend, and that was like the first FTR Briscoes match as well. But I feel like I'm going to use a little bit of a cheat code here. I am going to say Forbidden Door, not just because I was there, but it was more even just so because of like, holy crap, this is happening. And plus getting to see Okada in person was kind of amazing. But yeah, it was incredible. So I mean, one, still can't believe we got to go. One, still can't believe it got even happen.
Yeah, once in a lifetime event for sure. All right, Sienna, who is your pay-per-view of the year?
So I'm going to give my honorable mention and then the pay-per-view of the year. The honorable mention definitely had to be AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. It was one of the most game-changing pay-per-view we all witnessed with AEW and New Japan working together. Despite the whole injury bug that has been happening, but they really did work it out very well too. So I was very blown away with the pay-per-view. Like Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay was one of my favorite match in that pay-per-view of all time, though. But for pay-per-view of the year, I'm gonna go with AEW Revolution. That was the best AEW pay-per-view of 2022. I mean, you got like really top quality matches, like Wardlow winning the face of the Revolution for that TNT title shot, to Jurassic Express Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus winning the AEW tag team titles, Jay Cargill versus Ty Mello for the TBS Women's Championship match, which is by far one of the best match from Jay Cargill's career, in my personal opinion. Of course, CM Punk versus MJF's dog collar match, Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole, baby, for the AEW World Title. That was, and the rest of the card, it was a very impressive match altogether. And so that would be my pay-per-view of the year, AEW Revolution.
Yeah, I almost wonder if I was.
That's what we needed. We needed to get some blackjack and some hookers on here. Thank you, Mannix. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'd have to say, like, I wonder if I was to go back and watch Revolution, how I would feel, because it was so long ago, and I was like sitting here trying to remember, okay, what was all on that card? But yeah, I mean,
that was the best AEW show of the year by far.
Yeah.
AEW put on some good ones.
Yeah.
Not counting Forbidden Door, but I mean, still, yeah.
Yeah. I forgot to mention the one match that was in the card that actually like cut ties to his incredible promo. Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho.
Yes, it's the opener too.
Promo of
yeah,
one of Eddie Kingston's promo that actually like duetted on my TikTok video, talking about like his demons of holding the bottle of Jack Daniels. That was by far my favorite promo from him, especially leading up to that match.
Yeah.
Well, can I just say this? Looking a little bit ahead to this year, Tony Khan, please give us an Eddie Kingston MJF feud.
Mm-hmm.
Need this in my life. I need those promo battles in my life.
Hopefully for AEW Revolution, because that's where I'm going to be going this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because that is out in your neck of the woods.
It's in San Francisco. Yeah, I'm going to my first AEW show throughout this week, and then the go home, I'm going to Sacramento. So funny thing is that I live an hour and 15 minutes away from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I live 25 minutes away north to Sacramento. So I'm kind of like
you're like right in between. It's like best of both worlds.
In the middle of the valley, though. I mean, we're still considered the Bay Area, but we're like right closer to like the Sacramento area.
I gotcha. Yeah. Go Kings! Even though they haven't done anything in a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's very, very cool. So did you say you're going next week?
I'm going in March.
Going in March, okay.
Yeah, March. AEW, Dynamite, and Rampage is going to be at the Cal Palace. Revolution is going to be at the Chase Center, which is going to be the second time I'm going to the Chase Center, because the first time I went was for SmackDown Live back in 2019. And then the go home, the aftermath of AEW Revolution will be at the Golden One Center in Sacramento. Yeah. Which the last time I gone there, I hate to say it, was for Hell in a Cell 2019.
Oh, well, it's going to be a better time than that, I'm sure. Hey, so, like, have you ever been to the Cal Palace for a show before?
Yes, I have. I mean, like, when I was a little girl, I've gone to, like, for Disney on Ice. But for wrestling show, I've gone to one for independent wrestling show back in 2017. And the last time I went was 2018 for the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 special. That's right. I did see Dragon Lee injure Hiromu Takahashi, unfortunately. But on the positive, I did see Juice Robinson winning that IWGP United States title off from Jay White. And, of course, Kenny versus Cody, leading up to, of course, the implosion of the Bullet Club attacking the Elite.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that should be a hell of a good time. And like Cal Palace for me is one of those bucket list arenas I want to go to at least once to watch a wrestling show.
Well,
Yeah.
let's go.
Maybe.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. Well,
We got time till March. Let's go.
there you go.
Definitely. I mean, I would love to meet y'all, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
got to go and all that. I mean, I've
That-
never.
I'm close to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
yeah. That's one thing I was gonna say. Honestly, between Forbidden Door and between All Out, really that was one of the highlights. Though was getting to meet
Mhm.
people that we had connected through TikTok. So I would definitely say if you get the opportunity,
Yeah.
make sure you can. I know.
Well, let's kind of pull back the curtain and say, like, the first time we ever met Panda was at Forbidden Door weekend.
Oh,
If we
nice.
didn't have that meeting, we wouldn't be like here on the PWC pretty much. That's kind of like we started the seeds were planted there, so to speak, and
Oh,
here we are.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, Mr. B-Roll, what is our next category, sir?
I have a feeling this next one may take us a little bit of time, but here we go.
Oh, match of the year.
Ooh.
One's gonna be interesting.
Wow.
All right, a lot of good stuff here. Let's start off with you, Irish. Who you got as your match of the year?
This one was tough, but I gave it to Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. That was just fun storytelling, and just I could not take my eyes off of it. I went through so many matches, but that was definitely the top to me.
That's an excellent choice, sir. For me, so many, but and these guys, we've talked about them earlier. You could pick any of these matches. I'm actually going to, believe it or not, I'm going to pick the very first one, and that is FTR versus the Briscoe brothers from Supercard of Honor as my match of the year. But you could pick the 2 out of 3 falls. You could pick the dog collar. They were all great. But like I say, I'm going to start where it began with that Supercard of Honor match. That match, I mean, the fact of the matter is that was the one match everybody was talking about the most and the biggest weekend in professional wrestling, WrestleMania weekend. So that's my pick.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick. Okay, so I was able to narrow mine down to 3.
Are they all the FTR Briscoe matches?
It could be, but so my favorite of the FTR Briscoe matches was the second one. So that is my match of the year. I'll give a couple of honorable mentions, but basically these are basically like 2A, 2B. I'll say the Josh Alexander Speedball match and the Orange Cassidy Will Ospreay match as well.
Excellent picks. All right, Sienna, who do you got? Who's your match of the year?
I'm going to give 2 honorable mention. One of them obviously would be CM Punk versus MJF's dog collar match at AEW Revolution. Second, well, it's going to be Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash at the Castle. Holy crap. This is by far the most heavy-hitting, brutal match I've seen in a long time. And this is like one of Sheamus's best match out of his WWE career, of course. The way the crowd has been cheering and everything about it, it was amazing. Now, for my match of the year, I'm going to go with FTR versus the Briscoe Supercard of Honor. That match was a pivotal point of how much tag team wrestling has been outstanding, especially both tag teams with different styles of wrestling. It gave like a great storytelling vibes to it and how much they put up into a huge clinic. So that has to be my match of the year.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say this, Tony Khan, Warner's Media, we know you watch us all the time. Give us the Briscoes on our TV. Please.
Please.
Them boys.
Them boys.
We need them boys. All right, Matt, who you got? What's your match of the year?
Again, so difficult to narrow it down to just one. So it's 1A and 1B again, and interchangeable. FTR, best 2 out of 3 with the Briscoes, and Cody, Seth, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That we talk about storytelling, and the storytelling in that match was insane. The taking off of the jacket and the injury, and then just the way it didn't need to be sold that he was hurt, but the way they kept selling it and making sure that when he won, it was him defying all odds because he was wrestling with a torn fucking pec. I mean, come on.
Sick.
Great storytelling. Chef's kiss of that's my 1A, FTR, Briscoes, best 2 out of 3 falls, 1B.
Yeah. Both phenomenal matches. And we're talking tag team wrestling. I just have to say this. I mean, I think over the past couple of years, we've really kind of seen a renaissance of tag team wrestling come back, but I really feel like this was the year for tag team wrestling. I mean, my gosh, there's so many good tag teams. And when we get to that category, holy, that's going to be a tough one. But we got a couple more before that, don't we, Mr. B-Roll? What we got up next? Are you there? Okay, the tried and true, the heel of the year. All right.
I'm pretty sure if it's not a clean sweep, we got a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, the one thing I will say though is like there's some stuff that he did throughout the year where it was like suggesting he was babyface, but obviously, yes, it is one Maxwell Jacob Friedman. That's your heel of the year. That's who I'm going with. 2-time Golden Headlock Award winner because he won this award last year too, did he not, Mr. B-Roll?
I mean, he's better than you and you know it. So
this is true. So
are we going clean sweep for this one?
Clean sweep.
Yep.
What do you
Sorry
do?
for hijacking it there, but
yeah, of course.
Honorable mention, Roman Reigns.
Evil. Yeah, Roman Reigns. Yeah, you got the tribal chief. Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely has a heel of the year's MJF.
Yeah.
All right. And with that being said, going on the opposite side of it.
Okay. Baby face of the year. A lot of good options here. I'll go ahead and start it off with because I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the most overact in professional wrestling. Scissor me, daddy ass. It's the Acclaimed. It's your most popular wrestlers of the year. Come on.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one indeed. That's another one I didn't think of for some reason.
I cheated a little bit because I did say wrestlers, but still, it's the Acclaimed.
Yeah, I believe he's saying for hopefully not for babyface, but for heel.
No, for babyface because the fact that mommy, I can't handle it in prison. Get me out of here.
That was the best Christmas statement ever.
I love that.
So for me, I actually struggled with this one a little bit, but I think the biggest babyface right now and all year in all of wrestling was probably Cody Rhodes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It was almost hard to pick because he did get injured, but really it's kind of just adding to the story that's continuing to be told though. So that was my pick.
Matt, you make a good point. The Acclaimed, I think they did kind of start off the year as heels, but dude, like by the end of the year, it's the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed, everybody loves the Acclaimed. That's a good pick though, Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
All right, who do you got, Sienna, as your babyface of the year?
Honorable mention has to be Hangman Adam Page. like the way that like he trying to be like the anti-hero, but still he was a babyface throughout the year, especially trying to get that AEW World Title, and especially how he was an AEW World Champion at the time. Everything that he's been through, he was like the top babyface in AEW. Now for all-time babyface of the year, hands down, Cody Rhodes. Like the way he come back and be a true babyface, especially with the feud with Seth Rollins, was freaking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick. All right, Matt, who do you got as your babyface of the year?
This one was probably the hardest one. There's so many, like I threw John Moxley around as his run. A guy who was absolutely over like crazy, Danhausen.
Very nice. Very evil.
That's a good one.
But the guy who just like, it's hard not to like the guy, even though he's trying to be a prick at some points, is Drew McIntyre. I would put him as like, he can do whatever he wants, and he still gets over. But yeah, there's just so many that those are the three that instantly came to my mind, and they're kind of 1, A, B, and C. Just because, but if I'm going to pick one babyface to lead my company, probably I'd go back to John Moxley.
That's a good pick.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mox was an MVP for AEW this year. Think of all the stuff he's stepped up and did for them, like all throughout, like with the crazy injuries and all the other shenanigans and stuff. Definitely a team player for sure.
Well,
That's a
shoot,
great
he carried AEW for
He did.
most of 2022.
Yeah,
It's true.
no, that's very true. All right, Irish, who you got, buddy? Who is your babyface of the year?
All right, so I'm glad that the last category worked out the way it did because, to be honest, the best babyface this year was MJF as well.
There
He
you
cut
go.
promos, and all of you bought into it. Everyone was down. Everyone pipe bombed this, pipe bombed that, and he just kept turning, switching back. He just kept luring everybody in over and over again. I don't think if anybody could ever pull that off in 1 year time. So he is also, along with heel of the year, babyface of the year.
Hell of a pick. I respect it. He is a generational talent. So much so that he is the babyface and heel of the year for you. I totally respect that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, you can speak to it. Leaving All Out, what was everyone blasting on their car?
Mm-hmm.
Better than you. Like,
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. We are getting down here to the nitty gritty. I think we got 3 awards left. What we got next, Mr. B-Roll?
all right.
Oh my God! I honestly think this is the toughest category for the year. Yeah. So let's start with you, Matt. Who's your tag team of the year?
1A, 1B. I mean, it's 1 and 1. Because it's a deadlock. I mean, FTR Briscoes.
I'm the same. So,
I mean,
there's
there's
1A,
just-
1B, FTR Briscoes for me too.
Yeah,
But you had to pick one.
FTR.
There you go. Fair enough. How about you, Irish? Who you got your tag team of the year?
That's definitely FTR as well. Man, they just held the gold everywhere, performed everywhere this year. I loved watching them as a tag team. They defied all limits. So even their singles matches that we're talking about earlier, I mean, I just got to give it to FTR.
Yes, and CDC, you're absolutely right. And they're I was going to mention them. Aussie Open should definitely get an honorable mention. We got the privilege of getting to see those guys live. Holy shit. They are legit as can be. But to me, it's definitely it's one or the other. And the Briscoes is in the conversation, but to me, it's between the Usos and FTR. I mean, it's like who do you pick?
Yeah.
You could flip a coin almost. For me, personally, I'm going to go with FTR as my pick on this one. But you're justified in saying the Usos or even the Briscoes. I mean, you could go either way, but I think it's FTR. Three different title reigns in 3 different companies. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like I said, mine was 1A, 1B, FTR, Briscoes. If you're forcing me to pick off of this year alone, I'm saying FTR, but yeah.
Man,
All right.
honorable mention, 2 of them, hands down, the Briscoe and the Usos, and tag team of the year, definitely FTR, the most decorative tag team of 2022, winning the Ring of Honor tag team champion, the AAA tag team champion, and the IWGP tag team champion.
And they held the AEW during 2022 as well, right? Is that, or was
I
that?
think at the
No, they didn't hold
No,
it.
they lost it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
lost it, yeah.
Yeah. But
Man,
still, though,
they did
had
fight
it.
for it though.
They did
Yeah.
fight for it. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to make their trios debut and bring CM Punk in, from what I understood.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Watch
That's
it all
good.
be a work. Watch it
Dude.
all be a work.
dude, everyone loves the Acclaim.
Yeah. See, Acclaim.
Everyone.
Yeah. Acclaim's right in the conversation there too, I think, and we may be like
Yeah.
seeing how long their run lasts. We may be talking about them as tag team of the year for 2023.
You
But I
know,
think-
though,
They would definitely take popularity for
Yeah.
sure.
fantasy booking wise, though, it wouldn't make sense for why FTR was dropping all these belts all of a sudden.
Mm.
Oh, like they're gonna go after the AEW tag titles?
No, trios.
Oh, the trios? Oh, well, yeah. You never know.
Ah, ah.
We've been worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's go to our next award. What do we got? Female Competitor of the Year. It's going to be a good one. A lot of incredible year for women's wrestling. Start with you, Irish. Who do you have as your Female Competitor of the Year?
All right. I picked Jordan Grace. She started the year as digital media champion, feuded with Matt Cardona, wrestled in an X Division title match, tried to get after the tag team titles, then went and dominated the Impact women's division. So I give it to Jordan Grace.
It's a hell of a good pick. Yeah, you gotta love Thick Mama Pop. She had a great year too. Did she also this year hold the digital championship too?
Yeah, at the beginning,
At the
and
beginning,
then lost
so, yeah.
it to Cardona, and they feuded over like 3 matches.
Yeah.
So she like halfway through the year went back into the women's division. So I got to give her just the props for that.
Yeah. And a dominating run right now as the current Knockouts champion. So, for me, I feel like this was finally her year, and I think she had a great 2021, but 2022 was definitely her year. It's Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair finally getting that win back at WrestleMania, getting that momentum of beating Becky, and then the matches she had with Becky, the matches she had with Bayley throughout the year. It's Bianca Belair by far.
So my pick, honestly, it kind of cracks me up a little bit because at the beginning of the year at Revolution, I was quoted as saying that they were going to lose their belt at Revolution. But this person has grown on me a little bit.
And by the way, who said that they would be undefeated throughout the year? I'm just saying.
You did. Jade Cargill.
Yeah, and she's getting better and better too. That's
She
the
is.
thing.
For sure.
That's a great pick, my friend.
It's kind of scary, like how good she's done so far, and then like she's only getting better. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah. All right, Sienna, who do you got as your female competitor of the year?
I got 2 honorable mention. One of them would have to be, well, unfortunately, she's no longer with the company, Mandy Rose. She actually held the NXT Women's Champion for like the whole, like her
Mhm.
2021 all the way to like the end of 2022. How she had like incredible matches, how she trying to, you know, dominate the women's division, especially like, with Toxic Attraction as a faction. I mean, she did solidify what it is for the women's division, and especially she did improve so much since coming back to NXT as well. So definitely Mandy Rose as an honorable mention. The second would have to be Thunder Rosa. I mean, she held the AEW Women's Championship for like a couple months, especially how much that she's been going through like each of the obstacle. And it's a shame that she had to drop a title due to injury though, but she actually made the women's division more enjoyable. And so female competitor of the year, hands down, has to be Bianca Belair. Can't argue with that. Yeah.
Know it.
Mhm.
Excellent pick. All right, Matt, take us home. Who you got as your female competitor of the year?
I have 2 honorable mentions and 1A or 2A, 2B are Jade and Bianca. The reason I can't put Jade in, like, give her the edge on anything, in my opinion, her opponents haven't been top tier, in my opinion. She dominates, yes, but against who? In my opinion. My number 1 is Mandy Rose. She has carried NXT, not just the women's division, but as a whole show for the last year and a half. She's made it relevant again. Because I lost complete interest until she came down and started dominating and having her long title run. I tuned in to see if she'd get knocked off. I mean, just like we do to Roman Reigns, right? We want to see who's going to knock him off. Well, we wanted to see who was going to knock Mandy off, and that, to me, she carried the whole show for a year and a half. So that's my pick, Mandy Rose.
Hey, great pick. It's unfortunate how the end of the year ended for her, but
I mean,
it is what it is, and she's certainly not hurting in the pocketbook. That's for sure. If you listen to reports,
yeah, she deserved what she got, but I mean, she broke contracts, so
yeah. Well, all right. It has come down to it, folks. We have one more award to give out. Isn't that right, Mr. B-Roll?
That is right. I'm sure you all know where we're going with this.
All righty. Your male competitor of the year. I'll start it off. You could go a multitude of directions. Some people may agree with this. Some people may not agree with it. But, I mean, you got to go with your tribal chief. Roman Reigns is your male competitor of the year. I mean, yeah. He maybe didn't wrestle as much, but still, like, he put on superstar performances. And the thing, you know what really did it for him, believe it or not, what made me was like, yeah, he's my tribal chief. The match with Logan Paul, because I was not expecting shit out of that. Dude, he bent over backwards to make Logan Paul look like $1 million. So for me, I'm going with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Mox is a good pick. I almost went with Mox, but I got to go with your tribal chief.
Yeah, mine is just strictly off of personal preference. Because I mean, really, you could pick anybody that used to be a member of the Shield as your wrestler of the year, and I'm not gonna blink an eye at it. But for me, the one I did pick would be Seth freaking Rollins.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice. What made you pick Seth?
I feel like really mostly just the stories that he was involved with. I was always invested into his stories.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Sports Illustrated just named him the #1 wrestler in the world. So I mean, it's a damn good pick. It's like you say, you can't go wrong picking anybody from the Shield. All right, Sienna, who do you got? Who is your male competitor of the year?
Okay, honorable mention has to be Jon Moxley. I mean, he did carry AEW, especially being the AEW like world champion with the most title reign, especially how he ensures everybody in the audience ever since that whole like backstage brawl where he was supposed to be going on vacation, but he was like, nope, I'm going back to work, and then reassure that everything's gonna be okay. And the way Moxley, he is like the glue of AEW. Now, for male competitor of the year, obviously, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief himself.
Yeah, you got to go with that. And yes, fourth man of the Shield is Kurt Angle. Yeah, but no, the tribal chief, man, it's the tribal chief. Oh, that's Austin Theory. Yeah, he did win the Money in the Bank, A-Town down. All right, Matt, who do you got as your wrestler of the year or your male competitor of the year?
Well, I wore this shirt for a reason. It's Jon Moxley. He carried AEW for the last year. He was a constant. I'm not looking at just his title runs. He signed a long-term contract for a 5-year deal to stay on to help guys like Ricky Starks, like just all the young talent. He's there for the haul. He's not there for a paycheck. This is his life. This is his company now. And so unless there's a major forbidden door, don't look for him to be back in WWE anytime soon. He's here. He is AEW, and he is a company man. And to me, that he put the company on his shoulders during the shitty time with the CM Punk situation. He helped them power through that. And to me, male wrestler of the year.
I think when the history books are all said and done, we talk about like Tommy Dreamer, the heart and soul of ECW. I very well think you could be talking Jon Moxley in that same vein as the heart and soul of AEW. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Irish, take us home, my friend. Who is your male competitor of the year?
So I haven't done this all night with the honorable mentions, but Moxley's definitely honorable mention. It was so hard for me to choose, but then going off another guy's year, another honorable mention. I really love what Jay White's done this year, but Roman Reigns and his dominance and the fact that he's the most over thing on television every single week, I got to give it to Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Acknowledged.
him. We all acknowledge our tribal chief.
No, don't get it twisted. I love Roman Reigns too, but Moxley is.
Yeah, I mean,
It was hard.
Yeah,
I couldn't choose between the two, and I just had to go with Roman. It just that reign.
Yeah, I mean, and all members of the same faction at one point, which is like just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, when you think about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much everybody we mentioned, they were in the Shield. Like, except nobody said Kurt Angle, but that's okay.
Mannix did. So
Mannix did. So there you go. Wow, can you believe it? What a year 2022 was in professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the greatest.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And I honestly think as great as 2022 is, I think we are in store for a hell of a 2023.
Ooh,
And it's gonna kick off with Wrestle Kingdom. 17 coming up here, and then the Royal Rumble. Oh my God, the Royal Rumble this year, it's already shaping up to be like one of the best Royal Rumbles of all time, possibly.
Did anyone catch that Shinsuke match
Yes,
last night?
I
That was
I watched it
tremendous.
today. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shinsuke Nakamura Great Muta match.
Yes.
Hell, the last singles match for Muta too, man. But Shinsuke, he
Yep.
killed it. The
Mhm.
everything down to the entrance. Oh, Pro
Thank you,
Wrestling Noah.
Triple H, right? Thank you, Triple
Yes.
H.
Thank you,
He-
Triple H.
Thank
Didn't he
you,
take
Triple
that
H.
violinist? He took the violinist.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
Yeah. And like I got the vibes when he came out. He totally looked like from Assassin's Creed or something. You know, he had like the whole robe with the hood, and it was awesome. It
Yep.
was so good.
Mhm.
Definitely. And I will say this: being modest, you're welcome for 2022.
So you're saying 2022 is due to your new fandom, right?
Yes,
Not
yes,
Papa H or anybody else.
yes.
Well, Forbidden
mean-
Door says alone.
Yeah.
I jokingly when I was on Huge Pop, I was joking about it, but you can remember this. I literally asked you. I said, "Is every year in wrestling like this?"
No.
No.
But
No.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
a hell of a year. But I really do think like I'm excited to see where WWE goes now too. I mean, that's something we haven't been saying for years.
Yeah.
It's just a breath of fresh air, and hey, it's like it's going to drive the competition all the more to like have to show up. And that's not to
Yep.
say AEW and these other companies weren't, but you know, it's
Yep.
just it's a new era we are in, and it's a great era nonetheless. So
Competition is good, people. Competition is good.
that's right. And remember this, folks, at the end of the day, why are we all here? We are all here because we love professional wrestling. So please, for the love of God, just keep that in mind. Let's stop with the negativity, with the
Mhm.
feuds on the ticky talk. And it's okay. You don't have to have a wrestling belt or anything like that to be a true fan. And
Yes,
you
you
know.
do.
Okay.
Ew.
But I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But anyway. All right, to wrap it up here, let's get in one more. Palooza. Isn't that right, Mr. B-Roll?
That is right, indeed. We thank you for joining us here tonight for our Golden Headlocks award show. We greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed as well. Whether you watched us live and we're in the chat, or you're catching us on the replay, make sure you go ahead and hit that follow button. Or if you feel so inclined, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. You can actually subscribe for free through your Amazon Prime membership. Everybody and their mother's got Amazon Prime, so if you need to know how to do it, just simply Google it, Wikipedia, whatever search engine you use. I'm sure you can find out how to do it. We are sponsored each and every single week by Rootless Coffee, because you know it is a
Damn.
cup of coffee. And as the CDC said himself, we better promote the best upcoming show in Cole TV history. Yes, Cole TV this week we will be having our Wrestle Kingdom prediction show dropping on Tuesday.
This Tuesday, very first show of the year. It's our Wrestle Kingdom preview show, and that's right, Mr. CDC is going to be joining us. So, and Thursday you can catch a replay of this.
Oh, and Matt Ward is reminding me. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's still here.
There you go. Because it's closing time.
That is right.
And did we? Where did you get that fine shirt, sir? I think you got that over on sweetdollfacecreations.bigcartel.com.
Yes, I did indeed, EO. As I'm pouring this shot, you can get this wonderful shirt over at sweetdollfacecreations.com or Big Cartel, whatever it is. Links in my bio. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. Crap happens. But definitely go on over. Check out our merch. We have Cole TV merch. We have Learning the Ropes merch. We also, there's tons of other content creators. There's Dad Hat, Self-Bed, Wrestle Talk Wolfpack, the Panda merch, and much, much more. Head on over there to Sweet Doll Face Creations and go check out the merch. And with that being said,
let's do the shots, baby. I got my water here, so here you go.
I almost
Hey,
My water.
hey, we got to give a shout out here too to our new fellow PWC employee, Sienna, making her debut this coming Thursday on the Phenomenal Four, right?
That's right. We are live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So I'm going to be making my debut on the Phenomenal Four podcast. We got amazing things going on as planned. So make sure to stay tuned on Thursday, y'all. And
There
again,
you go.
thank you so much for having me, especially bringing the whole new year and being part of the PWC family. I'm forever grateful and forever honored. And I can't wait to see the growth of the PWC channel.
There you go. And then, guys, you got anything you want to promote? I'll start with you, Matt. I know you got a pretty spectacular podcast.
Well, we have a Huge Pop Wrestling podcast here on Twitch. It's huge_pop_wrestling. We're going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays starting next week. We're taking this week off for the kind of a rebound for the holidays. But we are from 1:15 p.m. until 2:15, 2:30. It's just a quick little hour-long program. On Tuesdays, we talk about the pay-per-view over the weekend, and Monday Night Raw. And then Thursdays shows usually it covers AEW and give our predictions for upcoming pay-per-views. And we talk a little bit about what possibly could happen on Friday Night SmackDown. And then of course, follow us on Game Changers on my TikTok. I'm gonna put out a lot more content, and hopefully we got some surprises coming up for you guys as well.
There you go.
And thank you for having me. And I
Oh.
look forward to future collabs with you guys. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes, we were
Heck
glad to get you on because this has been in the works for a while now. So
Irish, do you got anything you got to plug, my friend?
Just pay attention for this ugly mug, and I might be doing some things sooner than later. This is kind of breaking out of my shell, and I really thank you, gentlemen, for having me be a part of this. I love the whole crew. I pretty much follow everything I'll do, so this is fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity. You started my year right, and hopefully you'll be seeing this ugly mug more.
Well, we hope so too, my friend.
Yeah.
And hey, we want to thank you all for joining us here tonight on Learn the Ropes. We want to thank all of our guests. You guys all are amazing. And hey, if you're not following any of them on TikTok or any other social media outlet, go and do yourself a favor and follow them. I mean, come on. Just do it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us here on Learning the Ropes. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we hope you tune in tomorrow night. Right, Mr. B-Roy? I almost forgot. One last plug. Scissor! There's a lot of scissoring going on here. Like the Hollywood squares of scissoring.
Yes.
Anyways, don't forget to tune in to Russell Endures Raw tomorrow night here on the PWC.
the first Raw of 2023.
Yep, you're not going to want to miss it. Well,
Cody
well,
Rhodes.
folks, we are gonna bid you adieu. And we'll see you next week here on another episode of Learning the Ropes. Everybody have a great, awesome night. And have a great week. And don't forget, Wrestle Kingdom's live in Tokyo Dome, January